What's up, family? It's your man Jeff Kilgore back again, a bag of goodies. And you already know how we do it. Business, mind, all intertwined. And today we're going to show you how to stop that self-sabotage behavior and release your manifestation. You ready? Come on, let's go. Welcome back, family. Again, it's your man Jeff Kilgore, and you already know how we do it. No filler, no fluff, just straight to the facts. We're gonna get right to the value. All right, today we're gonna show you how to stop that self-sabotage behavior so that you can release your manifestation. All right, let's get right into it. Now, before I do though, I want to put something out there to start off with. And the first thing that I want to start off with is this. Sometimes it's not self-sabotage behavior. Sometimes you just made a few bad decisions, a couple of wrong choices here and there. Don't put that on yourself all the time. You know, a lot of times I hear people, I always sabotage myself, such and such didn't go right, or this happened. It's not always self-sabotage. So don't put that on yourself, because the more that you start to speak that into existence, then it will turn into self-sabotage, and then you'll continue to do it, and it becomes a habit, it becomes a thing. But it doesn't have to be a thing. Don't put that on yourself. You're gonna have to identify, which brings me to my first step in stopping that self-sabotage behavior. You're gonna have to identify tendencies. Now, take a look at your life, take a look at situations where you feel that, you know, maybe you've used some self-sabotage behavior, right? So identify tendencies. If you've noticed that there's something that you do every time things start going good in a certain area of your life, or every time that you're about to get that breakthrough in a certain area where you do something to screw it up, something to mess it up, something to take yourself back down a notch or two, those are tendencies that you need to identify. Now, this is half the battle, because once you identify the tendencies, now you know what you're working with. Now you know what you can do to get rid of them. But if you don't know they exist, if you're not noticing them, all you're saying is, I just keep messing up, I just keep self-sabotaging myself, then you're not really digging deep enough to figure out what you can do to solve this issue that you're having, right? So what you want to do is identify it and then write it down if you have to. Figure out what that thing is that you keep, because when you're familiar, the more familiar you become with a thing, then the easier it'll be to eradicate it, get rid of it, stop it, change it, whatever you need to do. But if you're not familiar with it, you won't be able to fight a battle that you cannot see. You know what I mean? You can't hit a target that you cannot see. It's like they say, you know, you're shooting in the dark. That's exactly what you're doing if you're trying to fix a problem that you have not accurately identify. Okay, so accurately identify the tendencies, then you can go about the process of correcting or changing them. All right, now the next thing that you want to do is feel good about it. Now, I know this sounds crazy. You're saying I'm self-sabotaging myself. Every time I'm trying to do something good, I screw it up. I get in my own way. I just keep messing up, and you're telling me to feel good about it. Well, there's a reason for that. Let's talk about what self-sabotage is, for starters. Now, when you self-sabotage, your brain is always looking for the safety net. Your brain is always looking for the safe way to do things. Your brain is always looking for the path of least resistance. Your brain does not want you to engage with pain. And so what happens is certain events in your life have become associated with pain, because you went through, let's use a relationship as an example. You went through a relationship or two or three that hurt you badly, broke your heart. And so now when you get faced or get put in the position to where there's a possible relationship brewing with this special someone, you find ways to screw it up. You start an argument, or you cheat, or you do something that's gonna screw it up. Why? Because I don't want to fall too deep in love with this person, because the last time that I fell head over heels for a person, I got my heart broke. And that hurt me so bad that I never want to go through that again. And so subconsciously, your brain is saying, we don't want to fall in love again. I mean, the feeling of being in love was awesome. It was amazing. It was great. However, it ended horribly. My heart was broken. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was tore up. And so your brain subconsciously is like, we don't want to do that again. So you're getting too many feelings for this person. You're starting to fall a little too hard for this person. We're going to have to do something about that, because I don't want you to go through that same hurt. I don't want your heart to get broken again, right? So we self-sabotage because our brain associates certain good things with pain because of previous experiences. So if you had 2 or 3 bad relationships where you were head over heels in love, but it ended badly and it hurt you really bad, then subconsciously you could be thinking, I don't want to fall in love again because it just hurts so much. But at the same time, you're attracted to love, because as humans, human nature, we're attracted to love because that's what we are. So we can't allow ourselves to not want what we want because we're scared of what could happen, because we're scared that, I may get heartbroken again. This may happen again. Money is another example. Sometimes deep rooted in our subconscious are limiting beliefs about money, to where we associate money with a lot of problems, a lot of issues. If I become rich, then my family, or all my family and friends will be mooching off of me, and I won't get to keep none of my money. If I get a lot of money, I'm just going to lose it. Or if I get that promotion, I might screw it up. Or, if I become a millionaire, they're going to take, X amount % of taxes. Is, anything that you can think of that associates that good thing with a negative, that's self-sabotage. And so subconsciously, you keep knocking yourself down a few notches every time you're almost close. So first you have to identify those tendencies. And then secondly, feel good about it. And the reason that I say feel good about it is because of this reason right here. Your brain just wants to protect you. So when I say feel good about it, feel good about it. Your brain is working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's like, man, my brain is working pretty good. It's got this protection thing down pat. My brain is really trying to protect me. My subconscious is really not trying to allow me to get hurt again. Thank you, subconscious. Play the little game with yourself, but understand that you, with the so-called self-sabotage, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You just need to be able to recognize it so that you can turn it around and use it to your benefit. But that's all that's happening. Your subconscious, your brain is trying to protect you from hurt that you have in your mind from more than likely previous experiences or some limiting belief that was instilled in you years and years and years ago. Your brain is trying to protect you from that. So feel good about it. Yeah, my brain is doing its job. But now I recognize that, and we're going to train our brains to do things a little bit different. We're going to take those limits off. We're going to break those chains so that we can do and be and feel and live how we want to be, right? All right? So feel good about it. Quit beating yourself up. Feel good about it, all right? Now, this is another thing that you want to do. You want to write down all the things that you're missing out on because of this self-sabotage behavior. And we're not dwelling in the negative, but you want to write down all the things that you're missing out on by constantly doing this behavior, by constantly sabotaging yourself. And the reason you want to do this is because you want to associate pain. You want your brain to associate pain, the pain of the things that you're missing out on. You want your brain to associate that with that self-sabotage behavior, because then it becomes a little bit easier to change it. Remember, your brain is always trying to protect you, right? Your brain is always trying to help you avoid those situations that bring pain into your life, right? So if you write down all the things that you're missing out on, it becomes a pain point in your life, and your brain is like, man, why do I keep doing this sabotage behavior then if it's bringing pain to my life, right? So your brain, the protection mechanism kicks in again, but this time it's for your good, because this time we're thinking about how we can stop that self-sabotage behavior, because that's bringing pain. I'm missing out on a great relationship. I'm missing out on possibly the soulmate of my life. In a money situation, I'm missing out on wealth. I'm missing out on riches. I'm missing out on being able to help my family, being able to have my mom retire, stuff like that, right? So when you associate that self-sabotage behavior with a pain point in your life, then it becomes easier for your brain to break those chains and break those habits so that you can get into an anti-self-sabotage, behavior pattern, right? So once you write down all the things that you're missing out on, then what you want to do is write down all the things that you can gain by eliminating that behavior. Now, what this does is associate happiness, associate success, associate good things with not self-sabotaging yourself. So you're playing a little game with your brain, but hey, this is what we have to do. If it were easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would have unlimited abundant success, which they can, but not everyone knows about it though. But you're learning, you're getting it. And that's why you're here, and I appreciate you. By the way, shameless plug, if you're getting any value so far, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, get all the videos that I upload. Don't miss not one, because they're all gonna be packed with value, right? All right, now let's get back to it. The next thing you have to do is interrupt the pattern. Once you identify those tendencies and you felt good about it, and you've written down all the things that you're missing out on because of this behavior, and then you've written down all the things that you could gain by getting rid of that behavior, then you just interrupt that pattern. You've identified it, so now, since I've identified it, I'm gonna interrupt that pattern by doing something completely different. I'm gonna shock the system. If I always go left, this time I'm going right. If I always go up, this time I'm going down, or opposite. Whatever it is, you're gonna do something, and you're gonna do it repeatedly. You're gonna shock your system so that, wait a minute, we usually start an argument right here when we start having feelings like this, but instead, he's going in a little more. He's telling her how much he really does love her. This is weird. The subconscious in your brain is like, what? This is weird. Wow, he's actually bringing her flowers. Okay, this is usually the point where we start our argument and break up, but he's not doing that. What's going on? See what I'm saying? You interrupted the pattern. This opens a lane for a brand new pattern. See, we're shocking the system to get rid of that old behavior, to get rid of those limited beliefs. So once you interrupt that pattern, it opens the door for a new pattern to be put in. And then if you consistently, repetitiously behave with this new pattern, then it becomes the belief, and then you no longer have those self-sabotaging behaviors, right? All right, now, the last thing that we want to do, you want to visualize achieving whatever goal it is, whatever thing that this self-sabotaging behavior has been destroying. You want to visualize achieving that without that behavior. So you go through the whole scenario in your head, and you visualize accomplishing that goal, achieving that task, whatever it is that you're trying to do. Visualize it all happening with zero self-sabotage. And so once you go through this, what this does is give your subconscious mind a clear vision. We really can do this without tanking it. We really can do this without the self-sabotage. We can get this done without screwing it up on purpose, right? And so once you do that, you've basically conquered this self-sabotaging behavior, if you even have it. I don't want you to put this on yourself if it's not there. All right, so analyze yourself and then see if you can identify patterns, identify the tendencies of self-sabotage behavior. And if you find them there, then just remember, go over these steps. I'll go over it briefly again. First, identify the tendencies. Second, feel good about it. Know that if you have those tendencies, it's just your brain working as it should, which is trying to keep you safe, which is trying to follow the path of least resistance, which is trying to keep you out of pain. Feel good about it. Your brain, your subconscious is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. You recognize it now though, so you're gonna make that work in your favor, right? And so after that, the thing you wanna do is write down all the things that you could be missing out on because of this behavior. All the things that you could have possibly had, that you are missing out on because of this behavior, because you're recognizing it now. Then write down all the things that you could have by getting rid of that behavior. And this begins to work on your mindset. This begins to work on your mindset to say, hey, you know what? If I weren't doing this, I could be at this level. If I would just stop doing this certain thing that I've identified as a tendency, you know, I could be in a much better place come this time next month, come this time next year. I could be in a much better place because I'm recognizing it now and I'm working on myself, and I'm going to be consistent with the repetition of changing that behavior, right? Now, I interrupt the pattern. Once I've identified the pattern, I'm going to interrupt it. I'm going to shock the system. If I go left, I'm going right all day. I'm going right every day until that left tendency is gone. If left happens to be the tendency that you're trying to get rid of, right? So shock the system, interrupt that pattern. And then what you want to do is visualize yourself achieving that goal with zero self-sabotage behavior. All right. Did you get any value out of that? I hope so. And if you did, you know how I say, squeeze that like button. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And hey, if you still rocking with me at this point, you already know I appreciate you. Let's go.